Ladies and gentlemen,
This was a great. We've said it. This was the greatest
the
show.
one and only
comedy
Frank
show that I've
Caliendo.
got to. The two guys.
Who else was here?
Who else is here?
Just you? I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, I made that sound bad. Just you. You're it.
Hi, Frank.
But that show, that if people, when you come back, but they're always sold out. But your show and your two compatriots, that I said two things about it. Greatest show I'd seen, and two, all you guys work clean, and that's so unusual in the business.
That's the key. Is nobody ever walks out because it was too dirty. So we just do.
And I really appreciated that they didn't have to go, over the edge to be funny, and I'm sure that you appreciate that in comedy.
You know what? Honestly, I don't mind if somebody's dirty or not. I think it's funny if it's funny. I mean, sometimes if somebody will throw F words out there and stuff, I'm like, why are you doing that? You're so funny without it. But it doesn't bother me if somebody's dirty. But I just like it. I don't know if it's business decision or what, but it's in general, I just try to keep it.
Well, there are some guys
I
that
just think it's
feels
bullshit myself. I bullshitted something.
Can you say
I
that?
Yeah, we're a different show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I feel
we
it.
can do anything.
There's some guys that do
You
it
didn't have to
gratuitously.
say F word. You could have actually said the F
I'll
word.
tell you
No,
what,
no,
man.
don't say the F word.
Let's just try it out, man. See if Gruden and the FCC get mad at me for some reason. I lost my jacket, too, and I'm worried that I put it behind me.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
I'll keep an eye on it.
I was
while
worried about it because I keep my drugs in there.
How-
I don't know.
How good is this week for you? I know you've got. You're
Define
going to
good
8.
because it's a busy week. This is one of those things where I have a lot of friends, and I try to get to all the friends, and it doesn't always happen. And then,
They get pissed.
yeah, I mean it's that difficult thing. But like they were having trouble technically over there in Vancouver, which I'm going to. So I was like, well, I'm going to hop over and see the guys, and then I'll get back to you guys. And it's one of those kind of thing where, hopefully that'll get set up. But I'm not going to sit around there for 10 minutes while it's
Waiting.
not working.
Yeah.
So I got to hit as many people as I can.
So
We've been trying to hook up for
Yeah, you
a
and
ton.
I, yeah.
So.
Do you get exhausted after a week like this? I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
everybody
done. I'm
everybody
beat.
expects
I'm already
you to do it.
beat mentally because I was at the Pro Bowl last night with Gruden.
Yeah, you were on live with Al
Yeah.
or with Mike and Gruden. Yeah.
And I was at the game with my son and a couple of friends. So I went up there, and I was kind of nervous about it because I've never been in the booth before. All these
Really?
years, nobody's ever had me in a booth. And you wouldn't think that ESPN would be the entity that would put me in the booth. When I think of broadcast, I would think of that as being on the more conservative side in terms of what they do with the sports
Yeah, but
content.
it's the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a little looser than most.
And a lot of, it was funny because a lot. Shouldn't say a lot, but quite a few players were tweeting, "This is making it watchable."
Yes.
Well, I was going to.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you this, and I'm going wider range. He calls it in the weeds, but you have worked for 2 networks that I know of.
Yeah,
on
two
the Sunday
for-
shows.
yeah.
Have you ever, because ESPN did take a chance at one time on a guy who was like on a show like me, and prior to that, ABC took a chance on a comedian to be the third man in the booth. Have you ever thought that would be a good role for you?
I don't have enough knowledge. I have base knowledge. I don't have the knowledge. I mean, what goes into that stuff. The stuff you don't see in history. I know, some players and stuff like that, but to be able to recall it and know stats and understand, what the Ravens' record was 3 years ago.
But
they would throw all the research.
I know,
at
but
you
I
for the
just
days
don't
leading
have
up
that
to the
kind
game.
of a brain. I'm
So it's
scattered.
not something that you
I don't
would
think
never be
so.
interested
No,
in.
I mean when I went to ESPN, they're like, "What do you want to be? A Sports Center anchor?" I'm like, "Well, that's what I wanted to be out of college." But I don't.
Past that, yeah.
I don't think I want to, work out of a cubicle.
When you first started doing Gruden, what was his reaction? And now that you're standing next to him, like in the booth last night on the Pro Bowl, doing Gruden, how's he reacting?
I don't think he loved it at the beginning, but nobody really does. Rarely do they, especially football coaches, because they're on pedestals their entire lives.
Yeah.
And they've never had somebody who gives it to them the way they give it out. And that's what everybody liked about that. But Gruden quickly saw, sometimes I wonder if it's a keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. But I enjoy him. I think he's great because he's like that. And I think he's starting to – I think he likes me, and I think he's starting to like me more and more.
Do you feel sheepish when you're imitating him, standing next to him?
No, because I think that's the best time to do it because
Sure.
otherwise it feels like you're doing it behind their back. If you can't do it right there with them, I don't – I think that you definitely go for it.
But you maybe found out something last night that the Pro Bowl would be exactly where you could be the third man in the booth
right,
for the entire game.
it does that. It has the right feel for that. It definitely does.
Yeah.
I mean, the other time they talked about bringing me in was if I was in a game in Chicago with New Orleans. New Orleans was in Chicago, and they said if the game had been a blowout, they would have probably put me in there. Unfortunately, I had to fly back, but that could be a potential thing. You know, when he's bringing out the blenders and stuff like that to make banana smoothies.
We won't ask you to be the dancing monkey, but because people may not have watched the Pro Bowl because it's not an event. I mean, a lot of people watch it. I
Right,
mean,
yeah, like
that's
10,
why it
10,
keeps
12
going.
million,
Yeah. But people who didn't watch it, if you would give us, he's talked about Gruden, would you give us
We
like
talked
30
a little bit.
seconds?
I'll tell you what, man, that was some fantastic stuff right there. I had stuff planned like Odell Beckham Jr. I was watching him in warm-ups, man. He caught footballs with only one thumb. I've never seen a guy catch a football with only a thumb, man. That's incredible stuff right there. J.J. Watt, we're talking about a throwback. He's like Steve Rogers. You know who Steve Rogers is? Captain America, man. Give that guy a vibranium shield and let him go from Stark Industries, man. I'll tell you what, Captain America, look out. J.J. Watt's your guy.
For those that have not seen him do anybody, you should. Do you work? And I talked to a comedian a long time ago. He said he worked to a mirror. That's how he.
No, I don't. I just throw it out there. I try a lot of stuff on radio and stuff like that. When I do the stuff on the radio, it gives you ways to bail out, and you're not just there by yourself. Stand up, you're just standing there alone. So that's what I do. Is I do a lot of that. And
When you practice them, do you practice them into a recorder and then listen to
I
them?
usually do it while I'm driving in the car. That's
Really?
the time I do it the most because I don't mind.
You sing along to songs in other people's voices?
No, but people used to think I was nuts, talking to myself in the car. Now they just think I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
Technology.
Bluetooth.
They're like kids, but forgive me. But I'm a curious person in life. Of all that you've done, is there one, you're best noted for one other one, is there one that you think is your best?
Pacino is probably one that's the most, right on the money. But I don't know, Morgan Freeman can be great.
Yeah.
It depends.
Morgan's become a
Sometimes
big
They're like
artist.
children.
you feel like you understand, and sometimes you don't. But yeah, it is a lot like they're children, and you don't want to pick one to love more than the others. Although I do that in my real life.
Yeah.
Do you imitate your kids just to make fun of them?
No, they're 8 and 10, so there's not they're silly. They make fun of me more than I make fun of them.
I have one more question. I know you guys are friends. You can talk about. Sit back or.
I got to
Well,
run.
yeah, we're not going to hold
But
them much
the-
longer. I think.
The final question I have for you, people saw, and I thought it was the most brilliant routine I've ever seen when you did like everybody on CBS or Fox. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a good
How
one.
long a preparation time
I figured
physically?
I figured it out over a couple each makeup.
Yeah. that
Each
was
makeup was probably right around 2 hours each guy, 2 to 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I
each
was going
guy.
to say that had to be 10, 15, 20 hours.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was
Well,
over
then
2
he's
days.
got to write all the material, too.
Yeah, well, it's easy. Those guys are clowns. Just
Yeah.
do it all.
Hey, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
I know it's-
absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
And I hope, I'm sure you don't know, but for people when he comes back to Denver, you can't miss it.
Comedy
Yeah.
Works. Always at the
I'm
Comedy
back in the
Works.
fall, right outside of town.
Oh, you are?
At a theater. I gotta look and see where it is, but it's
A
I'm gonna
larger
be back in,
venue?
like
A
September.
larger
Yeah,
venue?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
you
it might
should
be the
working-
Belco Theater, maybe, or
It's
Paramount. The
it's
Paramount.
outside of Denver. It's
That would
like,
be Broomfield.
It might be like
Yeah.
30, 40 miles, I think, though. I don't
Oh,
know.
there's one up.
Oh, maybe
'cause
the
I have-
Fox Theater in Boulder.
Something with a G. I don't
Some
know.
with the G.
We'll figure it out.
Well, a friend of mine who worked on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour did the arena.
Larry the Cable Guy? No.
No,
That's
one of the
what
others.
that was right
The
there.
one that drinks the most. That should give you a clue. But he worked the arena that's about 30 miles out of town and
Okay.
drew 7,000. It was
Oh,
the biggest crowd he's ever had, he said.
That's cool.
So, anyway.
All right,
good.
got to run.
Thank
Thanks,
you, guys.
Thanks,
No,
Frank.
Great to
we
see you.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll run into you this week. Frank Caliendo, everybody.